Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. It is 5th June today, and in this video we are going to solve some important articles which could be very much relevant for your preparation. But before we start our discussion, I would like to give you the brief introduction about our initiative. So that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. Basically from 2nd June we had started this initiative. What we do in this on this YouTube channel, every day we upload two videos. In the first one we discuss the daily news analysis, in which is this video. We discuss daily news analysis. We discuss the most important articles which are relevant for your preparation. We discuss in every dimension possible, whether it would be related to mains, we will discuss it. Whether it would be related to prelims, we would discuss it. We will take every dimension which is possible to discuss the article in. We will try to discuss that in that dimension. And we will try to cover every important facts which are mentioned in the news article. So this is what we do in the first phase of our discussion. In the first phase of our discussion. In the second phase, what we do, in the second phase, which is in the evening session, what we will do, we will take up the static syllabus. As I had already told you, we are covering the static syllabus here. We will take up the static syllabus, and we had started with Indian polity. So today we are going to deliver the fourth lecture of Indian polity. Yesterday we completed the Union and its territories under part 1 of the Indian Constitution. So if you are new to our channel, this is the initiative which we are running from the last few days, which we started. And our aim, what is the aim of ours? Our aim is to complete your syllabus, whether related to prelims or mains, by the month of January 2026. Our aim is to complete your syllabus, which would be totally free. You would have nothing to pay but just subscribe us. Just hit the like buttons if you like our videos. And about the notes, I had already informed you what you would have to do for the notes. You would after every subject, when we will complete this subject, for example, right now we are discussing the Indian polity. Once we will complete Indian polity, the notes would be available, and for that you will have to pay a little bit because it takes a lot of hard work. So a little bit amount of money you would have to pay to get the notes. If you are interested to get those notes, you would have to pay only 200 rupees. Only 200 rupees per subject. For polity you will have to pay 200 rupees and you will get the notes. So this is about the initiative what we are running from last 4 days. Now without any delay, let's have a discussion of the news analysis. As we told you, we bring up the most important articles which are in the news. About the census. The last census which was conducted, it was conducted in 2011. Ideally after every 10 years there should be the census. The census should be conducted after every 10 years. So from 2011, the next time when it should have been conducted, it should have been in 2021. Ideally the census should have been conducted in 2021. But we know that what was the situation in our country during 2021. We were under COVID-19. Whole world was under COVID-19. There were lockdowns. And this census was postponed for some time. But they were not able to conduct the census in 22, neither in 2023. And we know that in 2024, because of the elections, this census was again postponed. And with respect to this, one thing, if you would have read, if you are not the freshers, if you are preparing from last few years now, you would have read that there was huge controversy regarding this. It was believed that the government is doing it deliberately because because it has the delimitation factor in it also involved. So there are two important things which we have to understand here. The first one about the census, why it got delayed. First, because of the COVID-19. Second, due to elections. But there was a controversy, and in the controversy it was discussed that elections cannot be the reason to postpone the census, and the opposition parties, they blamed that the central government, the government is deliberately they are deliberately postponing the census after 2026, so that when the delimitation would be done, when the next delimitation would be done, as per the there used to be delimitation after every there is a freeze on that delimitation after 1971. After 1972 there has been the freeze on the delimitation. So after 1971 census there has been the freeze on the delimitation, that you cannot impact the constituencies in any way. They freezed the delimitation because there were many states who had implemented family planning very properly. They had controlled the population, especially the South Indian states, and they believed that the North Indian states, they are not doing it. So there would be mismatch in the representation of the people, because delimitation deals with the representation of the people. It would have changed after every 10 years, but from 1971 it was postponed earlier till 2002. Then in 2002 it was further postponed till 2026. After 2026, whatever census would be conducted after 2026, whatever census would be conducted, on the basis of that census, the delimitation would be done. So this is the story so far. Now, ideally, what should have been done? Ideally, this census, if conducted in 2000. If it conducted in 2021, then the next census would have come in 2031. The gap would have been 10 years, and next census after 2026, on which the delimitation was dependent, would have been 2031 census. But what did the government did? It is blamed that they delayed the census of 2021. They delayed it till 2026, and now after 2026, now they are believing that they are going for the delimitation, and this is the whole controversy regarding it. It is believed that the center is doing it deliberately, so that to get the benefit in the delimitation, because we know that how North Indian states, it is favoring some certain political party. How North Indian states are favoring certain political party, and they are going to get benefited from this if the delimitation would be done. And there are various concerns related to delimitation. The South Indian states, they always claim that they had done their best. They had achieved the goals of family planning. They had reduced the population of their state. But for that purpose, the North Indian states, they had not done anything with this regard. For that purpose, the South Indian states are being punished if the delimitation happens. If the states, the number of representation, their representation may decrease, or it may not be proportionate with the number of increase in the representation from the North Indian states, especially UP. So it won't be proportionate. So this is the concern which the South Indian states raise, and these are the allegations on the central government, that they deliberately postponed the census beyond 2026, so that they can get benefit in the upcoming election, which is expected in 2029. Otherwise, if it would have happened normally, then in 2033, after 2031 census, in 2033 the delimitation would have worked. But they wanted to get according to the opposition, they want to get the benefit in this election, so they are doing it. So this is the whole controversy related to it. Now, it was always about the now coming back to the news article. This much discussion which we did, it is not in the news article. It was just for the information's sake. what you as an UPSC aspirant you should know. Now coming to the news article, in the news article, it basically discussed about the notification that the central government has notified that they are going. Yesterday, central government has notified that they are going for the delimitation. The census will be the census would be conducted, and this census which would be conducted between 2020, from 2027 till 2028, it would be conducted in 2 phases. Please do remember that the census would be conducted in 2 phases. It would be conducted in 2 phases from 2027 till 2028. It would take approximately 11 months in the whole process, and also it would be the first census. This census, it will be the first in independent India to include the enumeration of cost as well. It would be the first census to enumerate the costs as well. So it would be the first census in the independent India, and also India will be counting its people after a gap of 16 years, as which we discussed earlier, that this much gap has been ideally it should have been conducted in 2021, but due to COVID-19 and elections it was postponed. And also we discussed that the census will be conducted in 2 phases. The notification of the center intentions to conduct the census and the dates of 2 phases will be published in the official gazette, tentatively on June 16th. On June 16th, the tentative dates would be published on the official gazette. And also, about the census, you should know that census is conducted under the provisions of the Census Act. Please do remember these things. Census, it is conducted under the provisions of the Census Act 1948 and the census rules and the census rules 1990. These are the sources or the provisions from where the census is conducted. So this much information, I guess, is important enough for you. This would be conducted digitally. It would be the first census in the independent India which is conducted digitally, and it would be the first census in the independent India which will contain the cost enumeration as well. So this much is enough for you. I hope you had understood the conducting of the dates. That is not that much important, but the controversy which is behind it is the important, the delimitation, which is going to be the huge thing in upcoming days. There would be huge discussions related to those things that would definitely come up within a few days. So this much, I guess, is important for you from this article. So with this, let's move to the another slide and try to see what question which we can frame from this article. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the Delimitation Commission of India. Regarding the Delimitation Commission of India, we had brought this question, which can be relevant for you because it is always relevant when there is a news about census. The first statement says the Delimitation Commission is appointed by the President of India and works in collaboration with the Election Commission of India. 100% correct, nothing wrong with the statement. Second statement says the primary objective of delimitation is to determine the numbers of seats to be allocated to each state in the Lok Sabha and adjust the boundaries of constituencies. 100% correct. Third, the orders of the Delimitation Commission cannot be challenged in any court of law. That is also correct. Fourth, the national-wide delimitation exercise in India was carried out based on the 1971 census for the allocation of seats to states, though boundaries within states were redrawn based on the 2011 census. That is also true. So with respect to this question, all the four statements are true. So with this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context of the question. Now let's move to the another slide and see what question which what article is there and how a question can be formed from that particular article. You know, here it can be relevant for your mains also. There can be a question about the critically analyze the delimitation, whether what should be the solution for that, what can be its impact of the delimitation, keeping in mind the population controlled by South Indian states, the parity between the disparity between the South Indian states and the North Indian states, how it can impact the stability of the country. So there can be a question related to that, which you should prepare. You know, get the idea from this discussion, prepare a note, prepare an article about it, how it can impact the stability of the country, how it can impact the stability of the states, and how it is going to impact the country as a whole. There can be definitely be the article over it, and what should be the solution to it, whether the delimitation should be conducted or it should further postpone till 2050 or all that stuff. So please do analyze it in this way. Now let's move to the another slide. Now the another article, it is about the IMEC, as you can see here on the screen. It is about the IMEC, the crisis in the West Asia. You know about IMEC, please do remember these few important points which are very much relevant for your preparation. IMEC is India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. So the what is the aim of this? Aim to connect India with Europe through Middle East. So it is a unique route, or we can say it is a unique route between India and between India and Europe through Middle East, and in it many countries are part of it. For example, India itself, you know, UAE is the part of it, Saudi Arabia is part of it, Israel is part of it, Greece is part of it, France and all that countries. So they, you know, they are the part of it, and it is very crucial for India first to avoid Suez Canal, the dependence on Suez Canal, and to counter China's China's Belt and Road Initiative, to counter China's Belt and Road Initiative. So this is how it is important for India. So we now understood little bit about IMEC, what are the countries involved in it. Once, as per the name suggests, it is basically about the Middle East, which is going to play the connecting connecting link between India and Europe in this corridor. But there is an issue in the Middle East right now. We are seeing the instability in the Middle East. You know, there are the routes are blocked. You know, Houthis are there in Yemen. There is tensions between Israel and Iran. You know, ports are being attacked. There is an ongoing war between Israel versus Gaza. So the stability in there is tension. There are tensions between Saudis versus and Yemen. So there are various. There is huge in nutshell. There is huge instability in the region. So during this instability, during this phase where there are crises in the West Asia, is it possible that the IMEC corridor is going to be the success? Is it possible that we are going to achieve what we had believed that we will get through IMEC corridor? Right now, the author here says that it is definitely going to get difficult from now on, because the situation in the Middle East is hampering it. But at the same time, it is not just the situation in the Middle East. It is not just situation in the Middle East, but it is also about the will of the. It is also about the will of the people. It is about the homogenization of the system. You know, which is going to be the homogenization of the system, which is going to be the one of the toughest task in this homogenization of the system. About IMEC, we know that in IMEC it is not just the C route connection, it is the C route. It would be C way to the, it would connect the ports with ports, it would connect ports with the roadways, it would connect roadways with the railways, it would connect railways with the ports. So it is the in it different departments would be involved, different organizations would be involved. So there is a need of the homogeneity. There is a need of the homogeneity. And according to the author, the situation in the Middle East right now, and the diversity of it, the homogeneity, to get this homogeneity is the bigger task, to achieve than is the toughest task to achieve than countering the belt and road initiative. So this is what was in the article. Now about IMEC, when it was introduced in a way, or we can say when it was discussed, it was discussed on this the India Middle East European corridor was announced on the sidelines of the G20 summit, which was hosted in New Delhi, India. It was announced on the sidelines of the G20 summit 2023, which was hosted in India. So this is about the IMEC. These are the few issues, the condition in the Middle East, how it is hindering the success of the IMEC. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question which can be framed from this article. Let's try to solve that question. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the India Middle East European Economic Corridor. First statement, it says it aims to establish a multimodal connectivity network comprising rail, road and sea routes. 100% correct. Second, it was officially launched on the sidelines of G20 summit in New Delhi in 2023. That is also correct. Third, its primary objective is to offer an alternative to China's Belt and Road Initiative and reduce reliance on the Suez Canal. That is also true. Fourth statement, the eastern corridor of IMEC connects India to Arabian Gulf and the northern corridor links Arabian Gulf to Europe. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, all the four statements are correct. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and see what article we have. Well, this article, it talks about the government to bring in a new national policy on senior citizens. So what is the need of this? Why we need to bring in this new national policy? What is the need of this? Why do we need to bring in it? How it is going to help our society? So let's discuss that. Once globalization took over, this globalization had a great benefits to the world. It has given greatness to the world, and especially it has given greatness to India too. But at the same time, the moral society of the country has been damaged very highly. If we look at our society, what kind of society we used to have? We believe in respecting everybody. Our Indian society, we believe in respecting everybody. For us elders or everything, we would respect them. We would take care of them. We would take care of our parents as they had taken care of us when we were children. We would look after them. We will do everything for us. But once the globalization, the idea of the globalization and the ideas of the Western world, I will change my color for it. Ideals of the Western world, when they came into the Indian society, it impacted our family system very badly. What it did, it impacted our family system very badly. We used to be the joint family. It impacted that, because of the urbanization is also one of the factor. The economic thrust is also one of the factor. But the downgrade of the values, it is basically we got inspired from the family system of the West. So The result of that is that our elders, they are suffering now. Our elders are suffering. There are various families in which they abandon their elders. They leave them alone, or they will leave them in the old home ages, or they would be less taken care of. If they will get sick, they won't even bring medicine for them. So this is the society which we are developing in. So in this regard, the government is watching everything. Government is watching everything, and they have to take care of everyone in the society. So with respect to this, they are going to bring in the new national policy on senior citizens. Why? Because if we look at now, because of this issue. And second, let's have a look at the demography, how the old age, how the senior citizens represent our country. You would have heard about one thing, that we are enjoying the demographic dividend, because there we have the highest percentage of the working age people. But it is not going to remain the same. Today it would be certain percentage, but we are going to become old, so it is going to change. And with this regard, if we look at the percentage of older age people in 2011, it used to be only 8%. In 2024-25 it reached to 12%, and by 2027 it is believed that we would be around, by 2027 it is believed that we would be around by 2047, sorry, we would be around 20%. There would be around 20% of the senior citizens, and for them there is definitely the need of the caretaking. There is definitely the need of that they should be taken care of. Their things should be sorted well. There should be proper old age homes, because the society is turning into it. The NGOs should be sanitized with respect that they should have the proper information about it. They should be given the proper information about what they have to do, how they have to react, and so everybody has to take its part in it. So with this regard, they are framing the the policy. It is just right now, it is in the discussion stage. It was discussed, few of its ideas were discussed during the meeting of the National Council for Senior Citizens. During its meeting, a few of its ideas were discussed, which was, this council was basically chaired by whom? It was chaired by Social Justice Minister Virender Kumar. It was chaired by Social Justice Minister Virender Kumar. And as I told you yesterday, that when you are reading any article, it is not always about the information given in the article. It is always about the history behind it. Sometimes there would be a slight mention of some organization which would eventually become important for you guys for your prelims preparation. So was the case with this article. There was the mention of the Rashtriya. The government said of the Rashtriya Yashri Yojana. So how it has helped them. Government has highlighted its the government has highlighted its achievements, how it has helped the old age people in achieving different different milestones. And according to this data, according to the data in this news article, approximately 5% of the older age people of the senior citizen, they were given best assistance through this scheme. So let's try to understand what this Rashtriya Rashtriya Yavoshri Yojana is. Rashtriya Yavoshri Yojana is, and that we will understand in the next slide through the question. Let's try to solve the question about the Rashtriya Yavoshri Yojana. So here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the Rashtriya Yavoshri Yojana. First statement: the scheme aims to provide physical aids and assisted living devices to elderly citizens belonging to the below poverty line category. 100% correct. It helps, and it is especially for the elderly citizens belonging to the below poverty line. Second statement: it is a central sector scheme funded by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. 100% correct. Third statement: the scheme is implemented through a Artificial Limbs Manufacturing Corporation of India, APPSC, under the Ministry of Social Justice and Environment. 100% correct. Fourth statement: the beneficiaries are identified through camps organization at the district level. They are going to organize the camps, and they will identify the beneficiaries who are the people in this district who suffer, who need assistance, where physical assessment and distribution of aids are carried out. 100% correct. So with respect to this question also, all the four statements are correct. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and see what article we had brought there. Well, article is basically about the Modi's visit to Rio de Janeiro for the BRICS summit. You know, right now after Operation Sindoor, if I will be more precise here, after Operation Sindoor, you know, the global dynamics has changed a little bit. You know, our relationship, especially with the Trump, it has changed. You know, it is not same as it used to be. You know, the relationship with the West, it is under pressure. So during this time, if you remember, if you would have read the news articles last year, you would have heard that Trump made a statement that Trump actually warned the BRICS that he won't allow BRICS to go for the alternative currency. He won't allow them to go for the alternative currency. You know, there was a discussion for the de-dollarization of the dollars. De-dollarization. There was discussion of the de-dollarization in BRICS, and they wanted to move out of the dollars and they wanted to trade in their own domestic currencies, which Trump did not like it, and he had warned them against it, that they should not do it. So this is the time when during this time when this BRICS summit is going to happen, during this time another meeting is going to be held, which is the G7 meeting. You know, it is on the eve of the G7 meeting, the BRICS summit is going to be held in the Brazil. So the article here says that there would be the eyes on the Narendra Modi, especially from the US, how he is going to tackle it. There would be eyes on Narendra Modi from the US, especially from the Trump, how he is going to tackle it, whether they are going to discuss the de-dollarization or not, how they are going to approach it. And at the same time, there are eyes on the PM Narendra Modi right now about how he is going to deliver his speech, how he is going to interact if he gets the chance to meet Putin or the Chinese president, how he is going to discuss the issue of the terrorism. That is also going to be the one of the major thing which the world is looking after, in which everybody has their eyes on, how India is going to tackle it. So definitely, there are going to be different issues with it, as it is as West sees it, West world, especially USA, it has always highlighted that the BRICS, it is the alternative to, it is a kind of an alternative to G7. So it has always blamed that it can be the alternative, it is the alternative, according to them, it is the alternative to the G7 countries. So if we will compare the economies of the BRICS and the G7, under BRICS, if we will compare the economies of 11 nations which are part of it, which we will discuss in the question part, who are those 11 nations, the global GDP contribution is almost 35%, and for the G7 the global GDP distribution is also around 30 to 35%. So approximately they weigh equally, but there is always pressures from the US. The group US is in, that group is the biggest, as it is pursued by the world right now. So definitely there would be eyes on the Narendra Modi, how he is going to interact, how he is going to discuss, and what would be the how it is going to impact the relationship between India and USA. So that definitely would be one of the highlight of this. Definitely would be one of the highlight of this, of this visit. One more thing. What would be the theme of this BRICS summit, which is in Brazil, which can be very much relevant for your preparation with respect to UPSC? The theme would be strengthening cooperation in the global south, strengthening cooperation in the global south for more inclusive and sustainable governance. For more inclusive and sustainable governance, that is believed that it would be the theme of this summit, which was notified by the Brazil, and the presidencies. They had in a way notified it. The president in the concept notes, the motto of this year's BRICS summit would be, that strengthening cooperation in the global south for more inclusive and sustainable governance. But at the same time, the US, they are watching it. They believe that in it the alternative currencies would be discussed. So this much is enough with respect to the article, how it is going to impact the relationship between India and US, how this BRICS summit is going to be important for them, for India, to highlight the issues it faces through Pakistan, the issues of terrorism, and it is the better chance to interact with the Chinese president also, to discuss the ideas how China can help India in a way in stopping the extremities from the Pakistan. So this is the better chance for India to deliver its case. Now with this, let's try to solve the question which we had framed from this article. Let's try to discuss that. Well, here the article says, question says, consider the following statements regarding the BRICS groups. First, BRICS initially comprised Brazil, Russia, India, China and Africa, joining in 2010 100%. That is why it is called BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. In 2024, the group expanded to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates as full members. 100% correct. They had invited Argentina also. Argentina was also interested in being the part of it, but because of the pressure from the US, they withdraw from it. So these are the 10 members, and in 2025 January, Indonesia, they also became the part of it. So these are the members of the BRICS. So second statement is also correct. Third statement, the primary purpose of BRICS is to promote economic cooperation and political dialogue among major emerging economies and advocate for a more representative global governance structure. That is also true. Fourth statement, the new development bank was established by BRICS to mobilize resources for infrastructure and sustainable development projects in BRICS and other developing economies. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, all the four statements are true. Now with this, let's move to the another slide and see what article we had brought here. Well, here the article, it was in the editorial. Basically it may seem very big article, but in fact there were a few important points which we will highlight here. First, let's highlight the term BESS, what it is. It is battery energy storage system. So let me give you the nutshell of the article. The article here, in a different way I will give you, in my way. Right now, the world right now, if we look at the world, how it is behaving, how the countries are behaving, what are the issues right now in our world. First thing which is mostly highlighted is the global warming and climate change. Second thing, the unrest in oil producing nations, the unrest in, or we can say, energy producing nations. So whether it would be Middle East or Russia. So definitely these are the two measures if we compare it with respect to the energy storage, with respect to the energy. So in this regard, what can world do? What is the solution? Sometime if there is any war in the Middle East, then definitely there is going to be the blockade. If for example there is a war between Russia and Ukraine is going on, if there is war between Israel and Iran, then Saudi Arab also joins. So there would be a havoc in the region, and definitely it is going to impact the transportation of energy. So in this regard, where we have two major problems. First, we have the problem with the energy itself. It has the global warming issue related to it. This is also one of the big issue. Second thing, we have the issues from what side? We have issues coming from, you know, from the sources side, that whatever our sources are, there is unrest in that region. So in this time period, you know, what does the world need? The country's energy sources, you know, what they should look after. You know, the country's energy sources must stand firm on four planks. You know, according to the author, there are 4 planks for the country's energy sources, and it must stand firm on it. What are these 4 planks? First one, according to the author, it is the availability. It is the availability of the energy. Availability of the energy. If we look at the availability, if there is war, will energy would be available? No. So definitely there is a need for the alternative to this. Second, accessibility. It should be accessible. If there is war, there would be blockades. Even though they are ready to transship them, they are ready to ship them. Can it be possible? No. Third, there is affordability. If there would be war, definitely it would impact the prices on the fuel, so it would get out of control. And the fourth one is what is environmental acceptability. Environmental acceptability. You know, whatever fuel we are using, whatever energy we are using, it should not impact the environment. If we look at these 4 planks highlighted by the author, the conventional energy does not come in the line, because we are dependent on the countries which are under war. So the accessibility is under threat, availability is under threat, affordability is under threat, and also those fuels which we are getting are from the fossil fuels. So definitely it is going to impact the environment, the emissions from it. So definitely there is the need for the conventional to move away from the conventional energy to the much cleaner energy. And for that, you know, for the much cleaner, for moving to shifting to the much cleaner energy, we need to, you know, we need to shift to the other resources, and for that we need you know, storages. We need to have the storage, and the best you know, which would be economically available, which would have the least impact on the environment, it would be the battery energy storage system. It would be the best available, which would be best replacement, that is battery energy storage system. So this would be the best available for best response to these conditions. But if we look at it, if we will compare India's you know, battery energy storage system you know, landscape, you know, India has the potential to lead in this. It can lead the world in this, in the battery energy storage system. India has the potential. India has the potential to lead into this issue. India can definitely lead into this issue. So far, India has, you know, targeted to set 500 gigawatts of installed power capacity from non-conventional fuels. From non-conventional fuels, India has targeted to install 500 gigawatt of 500 gigawatts of installed power capacity by till 2023. India has promised. India is set to install 500 gigawatt installed power capacity from non-conventional fuels. And right now, where we stand in 2025, right now we had installed 217.62 gigawatts as per the article. And also in this regard, what is the status with respect to the battery energy storage system? Under a battery energy storage system, we had installed we are planning to install approximately 47 gigawatt of 47 gigawatt by 2032. Even though we lag little behind, but we have the potential to lead the world. So this article actually it gives us the replacement to the conventional fuels, the time to change them, to time to go for the non-conventional fuels, and also the time to adopt the battery energy storage system, which will act as the grid for the storage of the energy. So this is about the article. I hope you had understood it. Now let's move to the last article of today's discussion, and then we will conclude it. It says it is basically about the Expo Somics for better environmental health, as it is basically the World Environment Day. World Environment Day, you know, it is being celebrated. It is being celebrated, you know, on June 5. It is being celebrated on June 5. June 5. Sorry, let me pause first here. As it is being celebrated on June 5, so there were many articles with respect to it. So this article, it also looks big now, but let me explain it in a very nutshell way. You know, in this article, the author here highlights that what are the various issues which give rise to the environment pollution. For example, microplastics she talks about, and the system that especially the microplastics, how dangerous they are, you know, how worse consequences they have on the human health. So with respect to these microplastics and all that stuff, if we will compare it with our body, our body is not able to recognize it. You know, we are not able to recognize the microplastics or all these impurities or all these pollutants in the environment. So we are not able to recognize it. So because of that, our immunity is impacted, and you know, we get infected with various diseases. In this article, there was some different data was also given in it. For example, the focus for, you know, for example, how World Health Organization started the estimates, how World Health Organization started estimating the environment disease burden. It discussed about the environment disease burden, how World Health Organization had started estimating its impact on the modern life, its impact on its percentage in if we will compare it with the global burden of diseases. What is the burden of the environment causing environmental and occupational, occupational risks? If we will compare with respect to the global, there is a term called, let me break it down, global burden of diseases. In it, if we look at the percentage of diseases caused by the environmental and occupational risk factors, what is the percentage of the environmental and occupational risk factor in it? It will the result would be approximately 18.9%. So of the global, of the global deaths, because of the environmental pollution, 18.9% of the global deaths are because of the pollutions due to environment, various environmental pollutions, or the occupational risks, or the habits which people have, or we can say, because of all these pollutions, these deaths are in the world, and this is the impact of the environment on the human health. So with this respect, the author here says that it is the time for the Expo Somics to come in. The Expo Somics to come in. We can analyze the impact of the environment, whatever humans do, the impact of the environment on them. Whatever interactions they do, the impact of those interactions on them. By studying that, we will have the better understanding of the impact on the environment on human health, and we can tackle the issue. Actually, there was discussion about the Expo Somics, which is basically the term which you should know. And the exposomics, what does it say? The exposomics is defined as the measure of uh, all the of all the exposures of an individual in his lifetime and the impact of the environment on him. So what is this exposomics? What does it say? The exposomics says it is the study it is defined as the measure of all the exposures of an individual in lifetime and how those exposures relate to the health. All the exposures in the lifetime and how they relate to the health. So in a nutshell, the author here tried to say that we need a proper understanding of how environment is impacting the human health. The one way is the exposomics. Exposomics, it can be the one way to understand it, and in this way we can tackle the issue, and also at the same time we can reduce the pollutants too. So with this, our today's discussion is over. It was little boring, I believe so, because there were many breakdowns between the discussion. So please do forgive me for that, but trust me, in the upcoming classes the discussion will be much pure and much better. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much and have a nice day.